I
I think
I really feel bad because I think people aren't going to be getting married. People aren't going to be able to date because they don't have they can't meet on common grounds because they're so far off from what they're looking for or what they think they're going to get. And I think it's because of social media. Lewis, how many trips or vacations have you been on in the past 3 years?
Don't count me.
But I'm just saying,
Been on none of them.
I haven't really been anywhere per se either, but I think a lot of people think that's part of a relationship, or that's just what they want to do. They want to travel and see the world and stuff like that. But that stuff is not cheap.
I did I went a few places now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you mean by the sea?
What
you mean by trips? That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think people want to go on trips. They want to have these expensive dates. They want men to be paying their bills. I see a lot of that kind of talk, and that stuff is expensive. And we know how much the average man makes, and especially black man. If you're looking for a black partner, are you going to be able to find a partner? And he has to be 6 feet, and it's just a lot of stipulations that they're looking for. Are you going to be able to find what you're looking for if you want all these things?
I think some people goals are unrealistic,
right?
And they don't know what they want.
And it's rarely that they're looking for somebody that fits their life and fits how they want to live their life, or has the core beliefs that they do.
Okay, I got this. I got to send this to you. You know what it is? Some people, they got like this fantasy stuff. Mm-hmm. So when I was growing up, I had some cousins. They couldn't watch the cartoons because they started living like the cartones.
Mm-hmm. How so? I'm going through that now.
No, what you mean?
Go ahead, tell me. I'll tell you why.
They are the cartoons and can't differentiate between real life, and they be acting that role out. I'm like, nah, this ain't real.
How old were they?
Between 7 and 10, something like that.
That's what I'm saying. My daughter kind of does the same thing. We watched Matilda the other day, and now she, wants to be Matilda. Or she would like Addams Family, and she wanted to be Wednesday. Do you think that's a good thing? I think that's just what kids like to do, but you also have to live in your own reality and be who you are.
Brandon, don't mess it up now. Is she now? Don't mess her up now. She's still a little girl.
But I know, and like I say, she want to get a Matilda outfit, and we're gonna get her one. But I was telling her today, I'm like, you would just want to be Wednesday from Addams Family. Before that, it was somebody else. I was just saying,
Why you watching Addams Family?
Well, they had a little show on Netflix, and I think even before that, she just stumbled on old shows and old movies and stuff. So, you remember The Little Giants?
Yeah.
I showed her a preview of that. I was like, this is a really good movie I used to like back in the day. So, you just show her old movies, and she kind of like falls in love with you, like in The Little Rascals. We watched that. So
that's what you want to do. You can do it.
Oh, go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, we really don't do this too we really don't do this too often. But that? Guys, we can have some young ladies from Brandon's community to say women are debating on a working man with $40K in the bank or a man with $250,000 of street money. Brandon,
do you go ahead?
Is that a debate, Brandon?
It is a debate. Sadly enough, it is a debate. How's that one? Because I think a lot of people think small-minded. And I think a lot of people want a street dude, whether we want to believe it or not. That's just what it is. You disagree?
I think people don't know. No, that's not small amount.
Go ahead.
People don't know what money is.
Okay, but let me ask you this: Do we have a lot of shows showing drug dealers like Power and Snowfall? Like, that's a big part of our culture. So.
Stop saying that, Brandon.
That
is not our culture. Drug dealing is not black culture at all.
I can't tell. What do our rappers rap about? how many
Brett, how old your mom is?
60 something.
I could talk to your mom and go. She probably we get kind of removed and go way back in the 90s. I bet she had some culture that black people had for a long time.
Right.
Back in the
but
90s.
this is the new culture. That culture is being wiped out. This is what's replacing it. Whether we want to believe it or not.
How's
we've talked about it. Just think about the shows like we talked about Family Matters and we talked about Good Times. The shows that are replacing those shows are Power, or Snowfall, or BMF. That's the new family. You got a drug family, and we selling drugs, and we're trying to maneuver in a drug dealing era because that's all we know. Apparently, it's not about a mother and a father working a regular job. It's the drug dealer. How are we going to stay out of jail? How are we going to sell these drugs and live this lifestyle we want to live?
You know how I got kind of removed. You watch this, Brent. As time goes forward, I get far away from the black culture.
I hear you.
For example, it used to be a time for Southern blacks. We did not cut grass on Sunday. We did not cook on Sunday. We did not wash clothes on Sunday, or we done no work on Sunday.
That's right. That's right.
Now it's kind of confused because Saturday is really the Sabbath, but the American culture told us Sunday.
There's no work. You're not supposed to do any work.
Yes, it's the Sabbath. So in my early 20s, I didn't do. I still stuck with it. I didn't do none of that stuff. I didn't cook on no Sunday. I didn't wash clothes on Sunday. And guess what I did today, bro? I'm washing clothes on a Sunday today, Brandon.
Me too. Even though we're supposed to rest, you're supposed to rest on Sunday. And I would say because God rested on the seventh day. Is that why we do it?
Correct. And we supposed to spend this day. No. We supposed to spend this day. Okay, correct. And we supposed to spend this day worshiping Him.
Yeah.
I went to the gym today. That's work. That's not my culture. That's influence for the outside world. Yeah. So if you don't know, I can't talk about people up north, but people in the South in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 1900s did not do this stuff on Sunday. Brandon is in his 30s. If Brandon think back a long time ago, he couldn't go to the mall at 10 o'clock on Sunday. He couldn't buy a pair of pants on 10 o'clock on Sunday. He couldn't buy a CD on 10 o'clock on Sunday. Is that true or false, Brandon?
That's true because everything was closed. It's what time? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
What time did they open up on Sunday?
Right. Well, I guess they open up late too on Sundays.
It would be like 1:30 or something.
Right, yeah.
It was like 1:30.
Right.
So if you need, only thing that was open on Sundays, if you needed like some drugs, some medicine, or a grocery store, any other things was closed. That is called, we had blue laws. Me and Brandon and our friend Eric one time went down to the beach when they just changed the blue laws. We couldn't buy alcohol on Sunday. But Myrtle Beach made an exception. They said you could buy alcohol here. Ain't that blew our minds, Brandon?
Right. Yes, it did.
You remember that?
I do remember that. I didn't until you brought it up, but yeah. And that's the thing. Like you had to change certain things because you were missing out on money. And I think a lot of stores had to change stuff because they can't compete with Amazon or Walmart online because you're selling stuff 24/7 opposed to having a storefront and you only selling for a certain amount of time.
Brandon, in 2000, Amazon wasn't here, bro.
But I'm not even saying that. I'm just talking about leading up to today. Like that's why we're here now because of what was transpiring and they were canceling that out. And now we're stuck with drug dealers and drug dealer shows. We don't have Family Matters because does Family matter anymore? It really doesn't.
Watch this. I don't know. Me and Brandon, I never talked to this about Brandon before, but I have a feeling. Brandon, think back in 1996. I didn't know you then, I don't believe.
I think so.
But I can't remember.
Oh, no,
I don't know.
No. All right, go ahead.
On a Friday, what did your household do in 1996 on a Friday, Brandon?
We were probably about to eat dinner, gonna watch a Friday night shows, like because that was just a big thing you used to do. So
there you go. So I didn't know Brandon then,
right?
But we done the exact same thing.
Correct.
We had
That was our
always pick
culture.
this. Friday, you get some special food.
Mhm.
So you get maybe a pizza, maybe a hot pocket. I don't know,
Right.
a frozen pizza. You know,
And you felt good
watch,
about it.
Yes, and you watch TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
Correct.
And that was your 2 hours on a Friday. Everybody was happy.
Right.
Because come 11 o'clock, the TV automatic went to those rainbow screens.
Right.
You know, so you watch the news. If you had cable, you'll watch the Arsenio Hall or something.
Right.
At 12 o'clock, the TV go to rainbow color.
And that's the thing. Like now you have so many shows. You can watch stuff on YouTube. People are sleeping less. We used to get more rest back in the day, I'm sure, because our minds weren't stimulated with all these apps, all these shows. Like we got more options, but now it's harder to do the things that we used to do. It's harder to find a mate because now we got so many options. You can see 10,000 people online that you can choose from or try to date, but are they going to be trying to seriously date you because they doing the same thing? They got a bunch of different choices.
My TV had 13 channels. The house had 2 phones, one in the kitchen and one in my sister's room because she was a girl, you know, girls like to talk.
Mhm.
And one of my, that was it. Ain't no, it ain't nothing else.
Right. And you would watch whatever was on the TV. You didn't really care that much about what it was. You would flip through the stations, and then even if it wasn't something you would want to watch, you would either watch it or you would turn it off and go play outside.
I couldn't flip through the stations. I had to punch them in. and that was upscale.
Right. So which kind did you have? We had the ones with the knobs. They had 2 knobs. They have some up the top, and you can switch it to the other frequency and do the ones at the bottom.
That I had the 2 knobs when I got the Nintendo. So that was in the 80s. That was in the 80s with the 2. We had the 2 knobs.
Right.
Okay, no station.
You'd be searching for a station with the antennas with the aluminum foil on them.
I had the 2 knobs, but around the mid 90s or early 90s, but they used to like throw away TVs from my mom's school. She got one. Mm-hmm. This one, you could punch in the numbers. I could punch up to 19 in there. And I thought that was off the chain, brother.
Right.
The TV was this big and the screen was this big. I get that thing, turn it on. What station I want to watch?
Right.
01?
Do you have any pictures? Do you have any pictures of it? Because I do have some pictures of some old TVs that we used to have in my room or in the living room too. You know, and this was around the time we had Nintendo too. When I was around that age, I think.
I would have to go to my mom's photo album. She got some pictures. And the antennas, these ain't antennas you think about. You go in the back of, they had 2 little things that you slide up and put the screws in there. These ain't the antennas you thinking about today. These are a little different.
Right. Have you tried the little digital because you know they got rid of analog and that's what those TVs used to run off of, but they got the digital ones now that you can buy. And I tried to hook it up one time. I can't remember, like maybe in my daughter's room or something. Like I couldn't get it to work because you know we were in the country per se at the beach, so it was hard to get the stations. But
Brandon talked about some stuff 15 years ago. Digital
about 10.
TVs, nah, ain't no damn 10. About 15, damn near 20 years ago.
It ain't been that long.
Digital TVs over there are great if you live in a big city.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could say I live in a big city, so we could get maybe 50 channels in all HD. So it's great if you live in the city, but like you were saying, if you live in the country, hell no.
Right.
No.
But why is that? What kind of frequency they putting out that it's not like the analog signal? Not to get too technical, but
what you mean? Why is what?
Because that analog signal, I could probably still, if it was putting it out, I could still pick it up in those smaller cities or those rural areas. But with the digital thing, it's not the same type of frequency.
I really can't talk about the analog because with our analog, I only got them 13 stations.
Right.
But with the digitals, you have transmitters, and usually transmitters are around bigger populations or where they broadcast it from. Man, let's start this video.
We're getting too nerdy too, but it's a good conversation.